morning, everyone. It's Starstruck Post. How you all doing? I hope you're all doing well, and welcome to another episode of Breaking Dawn. Hope everyone's doing fabulous this Sunday morning, wherever you're doing, wherever you are in the world. I hope you're all doing well. Welcome to Stretford Post. Please don't forget to subscribe to the video if you're new, and smash a like on the video on the way in, on the way out, wherever you are. If you could do that for me, that'd be absolutely fantastic. Thank you so much, guys, for joining me. That is glad to have you accustomed to having you here, guys. Thank you so much, Sanjay. Good morning, my friend. Hope you're doing well. Welcome to the stream. Welcome to the stream. It is Sunday, of course, a famous day in Manchester United, of course, guys. Every day is a famous day at Manchester United, of course. How you doing, Sniper Man? How you doing? Hope you're doing well. Welcome. Sunday morning. It's all about Sunday morning. Goodness me. I'm getting ready to go to the gym. Literally getting ready to go to the gym anytime soon. Greetings from Gridsia, Malta. You're in Malta today, Sanjay. Big up Malta. Big up Malta and the Malta family. Big up everyone, of course, guys. Thank you. I thought you were in Holland. I thought you were in Netherlands. That's why I thought you was. Good to have you here. Good to have you here. Dan doesn't like the weather in England. He doesn't even know English. Neither does Inzaghi, but we're still talking about Inzaghi, isn't it, Sniper Man? There's a lot of people who don't know English who manage English football teams. Eric Ten Hag couldn't quite speak English, could he? When he came to Man United, some say he still can't really speak English. He's still struggling with the grasp of the English language. Of course, guys, absolutely. Sniper Man. What are these leads? Give me a chance, mate. Give me a chance. I moved 1 week ago. I hope you're loving it. I hope you're loving the country. Malta's a lovely country, of course. Very, very beautiful. Absolutely. Valletta is the capital of Malta. As a Maltagal. There's a new country for you. Instead of Portugal, it's Maltagal. Absolutely. It's a fabulous country. Now, look, let me get straight into it. These audio leaks at Manchester United. Apparently, there was a breach of security at the Aston Villa game between Manchester United and Aston Villa. Of course. Basically, what has happened, someone has put an audio recording device in the dressing room to record the halftime team talk between Manchester United and Aston Villa. Now, what was leaked on that audio tape is telling, right? It's telling. There's something on that audio tape that they're trying to keep away from Manchester, from the media, basically, because it is quite telling. Apparently, there were disputes, there was arguments, there was things going on, and this breach of security, goodness me, it only happens at Manchester United, isn't it? Someone's put a recording device in the dressing room to record Manchester United's halftime team talk. Now, this isn't Manchester United. This is to do with Aston Villa and what Aston Villa are doing, their breach of security. It is them that are the problem, of course. They're the ones who put that device in that dressing room. Whoever it was, it is a security breach, and whatever was said in that dressing room has been recorded, but the device has been retrieved and the audio has been hidden somewhere, basically. So maybe that audio might be leaked. It may be leaked, but we never know. But you know what happens, don't you? When Manchester United are concerned, there will be rumors coming out about he said this, she said that. He said that. It's going to be like that, isn't it? And you know what? It's only a matter of time at the end of the day. There was also obviously rumors about the Porto game, and when Rashford was substituted, leaks came out of the dressing room and saying that Eric Ten Hag, Bruno and Rashford, they all had a dispute. Everyone was against each other, blah, blah. But you know what? This is just a normal week in the world of Man United, isn't it? A normal week in regards to our football club, which is being dragged through the mud at the moment. Let's be totally honest with you guys. Absolutely. He can't speak English. I've seen in India, he can speak it. I've seen it. He can't speak clear English. He speaks the same English as Zidane. Zidane can speak, and he spoke English in interviews as well. It doesn't matter. So do you have a personal jet or helicopter? Yeah, I have an aeroplane. Sniper Man, Unai Emery is masterclass. We'll have to wait and see. You know what? I would say this, and in regards to the Benny McCarthy. Benny McCarthy was shutting down a lot of people at the weekend because he just has called Eric Ten Hag the best manager there is available. He's just said Eric Ten Hag is the best manager. And that shuts up anyone who has these doubts about Eric Ten Hag, because this guy worked with him for 2 years, guys. For 2 years, he worked with him at the end of the day. And he's absolutely shut him down, saying that he's the best manager available. The only manager who is better is Pep, And what does this say about the club and its current climate? You know what I mean? What does it say about those players? What does it say about them? Because basically he's indirectly pointing the finger at the players, isn't he? He's indirectly pointing the finger at the players. Big up, Kazi. How you doing, my friend? Hope you're doing well. Welcome to the street. Welcome, my friend. Hope you're doing well. Good to see you, mate. Good to see you, of course. Good to see you. Now, let me get down a little bit. There we go. That's better. Absolutely good to see you, mate. Absolutely. All good in the hood. Never a normal day, match day for Man United. Never a normal day, even when it's not match day, Sniper Man. It's never a normal day, of course. Bennett is being paid. No, he's not, Sniper Man. He's not being paid. He's not. He's absolutely not being paid, mate. Stop saying sinister lies. We don't have lies on this show. We have facts, and we have facts. But why would Benny McCarthy say sinister things say nice things about Erik ten Hag? He has no reason to say nice things about Erik ten Hag. He was removed from his post by Erik ten Hag in replace Ruud van Nistelrooy, of course, so no, absolutely not. By Sir Jim. Come on, Sniper Man. Are you in the dressing room? That's absolute lies. Don't lie, Sniper Man. No, none of us are lies here. Yeah, it's the players. That's what I've been saying. Absolutely, Basha, it's the players. It's the players, and these leaks have been going on for a while now. And you know what? It's been going on not only under Erik ten Hag. It's been going on over the last 10 years, of course. These horrible leaks, these nasty leaks that have been going on. And you know what? We sound like a broken record when we talk about it. Do you know what I mean? We talk about the certain players that have been there for years and years and years. We've been talking about it for ages. And you know what? It does become a little bit frustrating, of course, guys. It does. So is your playing golden? No, platinum, Sniper Man. Absolutely. So at the end of the day, like, you know what? These things are truthful. These things are coming from Benny McCarthy, and he worked with Manchester United for 2 years, right? So he's saying bad things about fit players. He's saying good things about Man United. He's saying bad things. He's not just saying good things. He's saying bad things as well. He's exposed Rashford as well, saying that his people around him are not good enough. He's got the wrong people around him. Sometimes people have to tell him the truth, and they're not telling him the truth. Do you know what I mean? And that is a problem, of course, guys. Do you know what I mean? When someone doesn't tell you the truth and they're just giving you what you want to hear, telling you what you want to hear, everything's all cool. You're fantastic, Marcus Rashford. You're brilliant. You do everything perfectly. Do you know what? Even if he cooked you a meal and it was disgusting, people are like, that's lovely. Do you know what I mean? That's lovely. Rather than being honest, that is what the kind of people that Marcus Rashford has around him, of course. Wow. Big up, Sniper Man. Big up Simon Ruben Amarim, easy for you to say. Big up Salman Khan. How you doing, my friend? Famous name, by the way, Salman Khan. Thank you so much for joining me today, my friend. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel. Ruben Amarim is probably my personal favorite to replace Erik ten Hag. If Erik ten Hag was to be replaced, he is my favorite to replace Erik ten Hag, because he's the unknown, isn't he? He's a talented manager, obviously. He's at top of the league now with Sporting Lisbon. He knocked Arsenal out of the Europa League, as we know. He's a good manager, and I would be happy to have him at Man United if Erik ten Hag wasn't the manager. But these comments by Benny McCarthy talking about praising Erik ten Hag is incredible. These noises around Erik ten Hag and Benny McCarthy are incredible. And he's talking about how Erik ten Hag is the best manager out there. Now, whether you agree with that or not, that is important, because Benny McCarthy's worked with a lot of managers in his time. Of course, he was at Atletico Madrid for a while. Of course, he's played in England, he's played in Spain, and he knows, he's a knowledgeable guy. So, you know what, for him to say that, you have to put a little bit of weight on it. You have to put a little bit of weight on it, of course. Rashford needs to refresh in his circle. Yeah, he needs people who tell him the truth, Sniper Man, not give him what he wants to hear. I think even Turkic would be joined, as he's a Champions League final last season. You know what? Who knows? But at the end, Tuchel is not a good manager for Man United. Sniper Man, he's not. Come on, mate. You're speaking like a 16-year-old. Come on. From what I understood from the interview, the players mentally and at fortitude is a problem. According to him, the players are top class during training. Yeah, I spoke about this yesterday, Composed View. They're basically world class, and then when they get on the pitch, they turn into something else. And at the end of the day, I spoke yesterday about it on the show, about manipulation, about lies, about things like that. And is it to do with they're pretending? Are they lying? Are they acting? What is it? Or is it a complete mental block? Now, I bring in the Ole Gunnar Solskjaer season. I'm going to bring in the Ole Gunnar Solskjaer season. In regards to the Ole Gunnar Solskjaer season, they played with no fans in the ground. And that's why Man United went on that incredible run away from home and, were undefeated for a while. And that basically resonated with me. It hit home that, are these players only play? Did they only play because there were no fans in the ground? Because there are no fans in the ground. Is that a mental problem? Do they feel the pressure when there are fans in the ground? You know, and this is what I've been thinking about. And you know what? Because we went on such a great run, and we haven't done that since. You know, and you know what? It did die down when the fans did come into the ground, didn't it? Come back into the ground during the COVID season. They had a great record, didn't they? At the end of the day, but you know what? Is it a mental thing, or are they manipulating? Are they liars? Me personally, I think it's a mixture. I think there's some players who play very well, do very well in training, are world class in training, but when they get on that pitch, they cannot produce the same in training as they do in training. Now, that could be a mentality thing, that could be an effort thing, that could be, you know, basically a mental thing. You know, it could be something like that. Not just every player at the club, not just every player at the club, not just every player at the club. Not every player at the club, no. Do you think the players, new joinees, will get influenced by Rashford? Absolutely, Sniper Man. I've been talking about this a few times this week. Just because these players don't play in the first team doesn't mean they're not an influence within the dressing room. These players can still be an influence around the training ground, around the dressing room. They can still be an influence. You know, they could be speaking to the young players. They could be speaking to the new players, basically. And you know what you do when a new player comes into the football club and they see the way that Rashford is playing, or Shaw, the way they conduct themselves, they're going to say, well, I'm going to conduct myself like that. Whereas if the standards are really, really high, they will conduct themselves with those same standards. But if you have a low standard, you're going to conduct yourself with that low standard at the end of the day. Under Sir Alex Ferguson, we had this problem with some players who came in who couldn't implement the same high standards as the other players, because the standards were astronomically high. Famously, when Rio Ferdinand signed for Manchester United, Roy Keane got the ball and he passed the ball to Rio Ferdinand, but he passed the ball very, very hard, very, very hard. And he expected Rio Ferdinand to control the ball. As he did, he kicked the ball at Rio Ferdinand. Rio Ferdinand couldn't control the ball. And he said, how much did we pay for him? That is the sort of standards, that is the sort of mentality that we used to have. Do you know what I mean? That we used to have back in those days. Nowadays, you know what? We have a low standard. So the players come in, new players come in, and they don't want to play that. They don't want to go above the standard that those players are playing at. So they can be an influence on the training ground. They can be an influence on the pitch. You have to have high standards right throughout the club, from the tea lady all the way up to the manager. You have to have high standards throughout the club. That's what you have to do. Greetings, Sal. Greetings, Jim. How you doing, my friend? Hope you're doing well. Good to see you, mate. Hope everything is cool with you. Sal, do you think we can sign Hulk, the player? He is forgotten talent. Hulk went to Russia. Last time I heard, Hulk went to Zenit St. Petersburg. As far as I'm aware, he went over there, done pretty well, was a highly rated player at Porto, and he was a good player. But then he went the way of the money, didn't he? He went the way of the money. Personally, I wouldn't mind someone like Hulk. I think he is forgotten. Why not have a look at him? You know what I mean? He is a good player. He's strong. You know, and I like players like that. You know what I mean? Who can hold up the ball. He reminded me a little bit of Tevez when he was playing for Man United. Of course, he does. It reminds me. But I don't know what's happened to him recently. I haven't been keeping track of Hulk. But you know what? Yeah, we might as well look at him, of course, guys. At the moment, we're going after Wonder Woman rather than Hulk, ain't we? At the moment, at the end of the day. Here we go. Like Cheetah Omartin, join Rashford in partying just to look cool. You know what? I'm really, really hopeful that these players, these new players that come in, put their head down and don't mingle too much with players, right? Because at the end of the day, those players are not going to teach them anything about winning Premier League titles, about winning Champions League titles, because they've never done that. So I really, really hope that they are separated from the first team and that they learn. You know what I mean, themselves, about what the standards are of this football club. And these standards have not been met, because the standards of this football club have not been met. And for whatever reason that is, as I said, there's fundamental issues at Man United going on right now that, you know, we can't quite put our finger on, you know, and we have to find out what that is. Otherwise, we're never going to be successful. And it's not just the manager. Benny McCarthy basically confirmed that for you, that it's not just the manager. He's the best manager out there at the end of the day. So one thing I would say is that, you know what, Eric Ten Hag has to pick the right team. When he comes in, he has to pick the right team. He has to pick the right formation. He has to pick the team that he feels can win the game. Stop playing players based on training performances, because if the training performances are anything to go by, it doesn't represent what they are on the pitch, because they're not doing the same on the pitch. So what do we do? You know, what can we do? We have to remove those players who are not performing and put in different players. Because training it doesn't mean that you're going to win the football game. If you're training in a training ground and you're playing like a world-class player, it doesn't mean you're going to replicate that on the football pitch. So those players who are not replicating that on the football pitch, they need to be removed completely, of course, guys. So he plays from Brazil now. Yeah, probably. Yeah, I know he went to Zenit, but I haven't kept an eye on him, to be honest with you. Maybe he's declined a little bit. Big up, everyone. Big up, Randy. Hope you're doing well. Big up. Big up, of course. So Hulk is insane. Shot out. Yeah, yes, insane. But you know what? We need someone who's strong. How was your Sunday so far? It is only 10 o'clock. Today I'm doing this stream, going to the gym, and then I'm going to come back, of course, guys. Yeah, so far so good. Can't complain, Jim. Thank you very much. Thank you. But Hulk is 33. He's old now. Yeah, he's old. Yeah, I don't know where he is in the levels and stuff like that in regards to his level right now. He might have declined, to be honest with you, if we're being honest, if we're totally honest. Would you think that Ronaldo was still at Man United? He would be good influence to the new players and young players like Koenig? Yes. I felt like what he said, one thing that Cristiano Ronaldo said, which was true, was about the players at the club right now. Some players don't care, basically. Some players don't have the effort level of himself. I think he'd be a fantastic person to have around the club in regards to fitness, in regards to nutrition and stuff like that. But the problem is, if these players don't like Cristiano Ronaldo, they're never going to play for Cristiano Ronaldo. And now this is the thing, right? We should have looked at Cristiano Ronaldo and thought, you know what? Cristiano Ronaldo is a fantastic pro. He's a legend, still scoring goals. Scored a goal yesterday, of course, for Portugal. Still scoring, of course, guys. So, it's incredible. What is he now? What is he? 36 or something like that, guy? But at the end of the day, look, you know what? He would have been great if those players did listen to him. But those players don't want to listen. They don't want to know what it takes to be champion because they don't want to work that hard. They want the easy life. They want the easy life. They want that Ole Gunnar Solskjaer counter-attacking football life, where you sit back, relax in the game and just counter-attack, which is not long-term sustainable if you want to have proper success, of course. That's why we won nothing under Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, because we played one game and all the other opposition team need to do is sit back and say, okay, come at us if you're so good. And then because they're not good at going at them, they generally defeat us. And that's what happens. Unless a team comes at us and we play a counter-attacking style of football, which Man City did, and it fell into our hands, of course, guys. But you know what? Ronaldo would be a great signing, a great person to have around the club. He's effort, he's demanding, he will be a huge influence on those players, on those young players in particular. I'd rather take advice from Cristiano Ronaldo than taking advice from Marcus Rashford. Let's put it that way. Do you know what I mean? Or Luke Shaw. Do you know what I mean? Those type of players, like, who've been at the club a very long time, have won absolutely nothing of significance. Of course, the FA Cup is significant. I'm not saying that. But I mean, like the league and the Champions League and things like that, these proper huge trophies, they haven't any experience about the top level, guys. Absolutely. We have to be careful about all the leaks. We don't want another team stealing Eric Ten Hag's coaching secrets. Absolutely not. Well, what do you think about Benny McCarthy? He said that Eric Ten Hag is the best manager out there, apart from Pep Guardiola. Now, what do you make of that, Almac? That's a guy who worked at Man United for 2 years. It's 2 years. And if people say, you know what, he should have bitter feelings in regards to Eric Ten Hag. He should be like, I don't like Eric Ten Hag because he replaced me with Ruud van Nistelrooy. He should be that mentality. But he's actually saying that he's the best manager out there. It's the players that are the problem. And what have I been saying? No manager is going to come in this football club and change our fortunes dramatically. No manager, with 7-8 of those players still at the football club. Thank you very much, Benny McCarthy. You've said it, how it is, how I've been saying for months and months and months and months about this same issue at Man United. It's a mentality. It's a cultural issue. You know what? Training world class on the training field, then getting on the pitch and not performing. What does that tell you? Is that manipulation? Is that lies? Is that acting? What is it? Because at the end of the day, I want to know what that is, to be honest with you guys. Big up, Jim. Big up, everyone, of course. Big up. Ronaldo, 39. There you go, Sniper. 39. And he's still banging in goals for Portugal. Crying out loud. Come on. Do you know what I mean? So the GOAT is 39. Absolutely. Still banging in goal. And he's the GOAT. Absolutely. 39, still banging in goals against Portugal, against younger players as well. Do you know what I mean? That is the mentality. That is an elite mentality. That should be replicated at Manchester United. He's a Manchester United legend. He should be at Manchester United. He should be a coach or something like that. I believe it. He doesn't want to be a coach, though. He wants to carry on playing football, of course. Also, it doesn't almost about Man United idolize Ronaldo like Rashford. But Rashford doesn't work as hard as Cristiano Ronaldo. That's the problem. He doesn't put his effort in like Cristiano Ronaldo. He'd much rather go partying in Belfast than work like Cristiano Ronaldo. Cristiano Ronaldo don't drink. He don't do any rubbish. He don't smoke. He don't party. He doesn't do anything like that. You know what I mean? That is the level that he is. That's why he's 39, scoring goals for his country still. Do you know what I mean? He's the best player of all time, in my opinion. Basha, I remember the players complaining training at night, saying it's too dark. I'm speechless. Yeah, and going home too late. That's the mentality, Basha. Absolutely. And this has not only been happening, not only that, there's been other complaints, of course, as well. Do you know what I mean? There's been other, we're training too hard. It's too late. You know what I mean? I don't like the food. We don't have chips. You know, things like that have been going on. Do you know what I mean? Within the dressing room at Man United, which are mad. Because that, you know what, when you think about it and the mentality, do you know what I mean? Where is our mentality when we're worried about going home too late? Do you know what I mean? We're going home too late. Come on. Madness when you think about it. So you and me could do a better job later. Benny McCarthy is wrong. Benny McCarthy is not wrong. And I know who I trust. I trust Benny McCarthy. He's been there 2 years rather than you, Mac. With all due respect, absolutely. He's been there 2 years. And let's think about it like this. It's not only Erik ten Hag this happened under Ragnick. This happened under Jose. This happened under Van Gaal. This happened under Ole Gunnar Solskjaer. This happened to all the managers. So are those managers wrong? You know, at the end of the day, are we going to start blaming the players who've been there for a long time at the end of the day? Look, we are only 6 games into the season and we're already having leaks. You know, where are these leaks coming from? Do you know what I mean? Rumor has it, is that the audio, which was recorded in the the Manchester United dressing room at Villa Park, has some very telling things on there. So hopefully we will hear some of that. We will hear some of that, and then we'll paint a true picture of what's going on. But my opinion is, what I'm hearing is that a lot of those players don't listen. When they on the training field, they do fantastically well. They're like world-class players. When they're on the pitch, they don't listen. And this is the problem we're having. And why is that? Are they manipulating people? Are they lying to people? You know what I mean? You can't just say Benny McCarthy is wrong, who's worked at Man United for 2 years with closely to Erik ten Hag. You can't do that. You know what I mean? You can say whatever you want about that. I trust his opinion. He's first-hand experience. Do you know what I mean? At the end of the day. And he has no reason to praise Erik ten Hag because Erik ten Hag removed him and brought in Ruud van Nistelrooy. Didn't he? So there you go. There's no, you can't come back to that one, my friend. If Ronaldo wants to, and the way insanely manages his body, he could play 50, Jim, 50. Do you know what I mean? And that's what I mean. He don't drink Coke. You know what I mean? He don't do anything like that. Do you know what I mean? He don't eat crap food. Don't eat McDonald's. Do you know what I mean? That is how you look after yourself at the end of the day. Do you know what I mean? I follow Ronaldo's regime. I do. And you know what? Like now I'm going to UFC. And after this show, I'll go to UFC. Look, I'm in my 40s and I'll go and train. Do you know what I mean? And sometimes I'm feeling tired. Look at me, I look tired and stuff like that, but I still go out and try and do it. I try and replicate what he's done because the way he looks after himself is incredible. And he's an influence to younger people. He's inspiring. And I would love to have Cristiano Ronaldo there nurturing the likes of Obi Martin. You know what I mean? Players like that, new players who are coming in. That would be fantastic because you know what? He's proven. You know what I mean? He's proven. He's done it, seen it, done it. One of the greatest players of all time. He should be at our club in some capacity in the future. Prime Man United tactics, Ronaldo, Man United tactics now, pass to winger and hope for them to create chances, if not back pass. And that's down to the players. Erik ten Hag never did that at Ajax. That's down to the players, mate. It's not just tactics. Tactics come on the pitch. Tactics are overrated. You know what I mean? Style of play is overrated. It's all about the implementation on the pitch, having courage to pass the ball forward. You know what I mean? It's courage. Erik ten Hag doesn't tell those players to pass backwards. Of course he doesn't. He tells those players to attack. Those players don't cross. We don't hardly pass to the right wing. We only pass to one side. You know, it's like that at the end of the day. And Benny McCarthy has basically told you what it is. And he worked at Man United for 2 years. You know what I mean? So at the end of the day, you can't say nothing wrong when Benny McCarthy is contradicting your argument, who is not at Man United at the moment, but worked at Man United for 2 years. So you can't say that. You know what I mean? You have to take that in mind and take that on board. Be intelligent. Don't just say, oh, he's lying. He's wrong. Why? Tell me why he's wrong. Why? You know, at the end of the day, why can't you say that it's the players? Why can't you say that it's those players, 7 or 8 of them who've been there for 10 years that have been down tooling? Do you know what I mean? Why can't you say that? Yeah, he might have one more World Cup in him, but I don't want to play his son at the World Cup with his son in the World Cup. You never know. He ain't playing yet. His son is too young, mate. He won't be playing with his son. Erik ten Hag got a huge backing. He can't blame the players when most of his players are bought by him. And that is a simplistic argument, Almac. A simplistic argument. I'll tell you why. Because at the end of the day, he can buy the players blah, blah, blah. And it weren't just him, it was Ineos as well, mate, right? I have contacts, you know what I mean? It is Ineos as well, Mac. I know you don't like Eric Ten Hag, right? But listen to me, right? Just because he bought those players doesn't mean that the players who are currently there are not an influence on the team. Doesn't mean that. There's still an influence on the team. You know what I mean? They can still chatter. And when they're on the training field, they are an influence on the new players. They are an influence on the young players as well. You know what I mean? So it's not just Eric Ten Hag who's training that team. It's Ruud van Nistelrooy and Rennie Hake, you know what I mean, who are training that team. So let's not just say it's the manager, because he's just a manager. We got coaches at our football club. We had Steve McLaren. Let's not forget. We had Steve McLaren. You know what I mean? Let's not forget. Do you know what I mean? Yeah. Sorry guys. I just had to do something. So, yeah, we had Steve McLaren. Let's not forget, Steve McLaren is a treble winner with Man United. You know what I mean? He was the assistant manager at Man United. Let's not forget, for many years under Sir Alex Ferguson. Is he wrong? You know what I mean? Is he crap? You know, it's mad. But do you think Ronaldo Jr. will picked as soon as a compatible to play for the Nationals just because it's Ronaldo last shot to win? Listen, I'm going to tell you like this, Sniper Man. You know what I mean? I'm not a big fan of players playing because their daddy played football. I'm not that kind of person who thinks just because their daddy plays football, they should make it as a footballer. I believe it should be done on merit. And if he's good enough, so be it. But if players should play on merit, not because daddy played for football. And I'll tell you why. It's because basically when your dad is a footballer, you lose that edge. You know what? The grassroots football, the street footballer, you lose that. I don't know if you understand, Sniper Man. I don't think you understand because you're not from England, so you wouldn't understand what concrete football is, real football is, right? And where it comes from, the grassroots, the building your way up. Do you know what I mean? So the thing is, when you're pampered early, you got that, you know, training and stuff, and you got the you know, agents at a young age and stuff like that, looking after him, wiping your backside and everything like that. You know what? You lose that edge. You lose that power. You know what I mean? And that is what's missing out of the football game right now. Paul Scholes, Roy Keane, you know, Ryan Giggs, all come from street football. Do you know what I mean? Kicking a ball against the wall. Even Eric Cantona came from that. Do you know what I mean? So at the end of the day, when a player comes through and their daddy's a footballer, you know, everyone gets excited. Oh my goodness, Ronaldo Jr. It rarely works. Big up, Jim. Big up. Well, no, second. Football, guys, come on. One thing I can say about Benny is he's honest. He's honest, Randy. Exactly. And people just want to defend everything. They want to defend the indefensible, basically. So basically, they're saying like, oh, he's wrong. Why is he wrong? What makes your opinion better than Benny McCarthy's? Do you know what I mean? I'm saying it like this. Tell me why. You know what I mean? Why? Because I've got 10 years of evidence. You know what I mean? That it's not just the manager here. Do you know what I mean? So what makes Benny McCarthy's opinion wrong? I want to know. He worked at Man United 2 years. Not having McDonald's for a while. Big up, Jim. Hi, Randy. Big up, bro. Big up, Randy. Big up, Randy. Of course, look, Zidane's son. They are the average players. Yeah, they're just average players. At the end of the day, look, you have to look at the street footballer. Just because their dad is a footballer doesn't mean give them the entitlement to be a footballer, does it? You know, and this is what's wrong with football these days. We're more inclined to employ rich already footballers who lack that edge, who lack that mentality, who understand the value of money, who understand the value of effort. You know, rather than Dad, I've got a gym in my house. I've got a football pitch outside and that. Rather than walking a mile, right, down the road in the snow, in the rain, going to Hackney Marshes in London, playing football. That's the difference between, you know, successful footballer and a not successful footballer. You can have a footballer whose dad is Cristiano Ronaldo, you know what I mean? But he's got everything on his plate. Everything's there. Everything. You've got a nutrition, you've got a dietitian, you've got a chef, you've got this. You know what I mean? These players, you know what I mean, used to catch the bus. You know what I mean? They used to catch the bus to the cliff at Man United. They used to catch the bus, right? Nowadays, you don't want players nowadays. What's the difference between a player who catches the bus, right, and a player who drives in a Ferrari with his daddy, who's a footballer, going to the ground, picked up, dropped off, and given every single thing on the plate? There's a big difference to it. You know what? Work ethic. Work ethic. It's in every single field, right? It's unfair that you get favoritism just because, you know what, your father is a footballer or your mother is something else. Or if your mother works at a higher company, a big company, and her daughter or a son, you know what I mean, gets a job before you because it's a daughter or son. It's not right, is it? And you know what, you might be the best in class for that job, but at the end of the day, you know what, she or he gets it because, you know, they're related to the top. You know, and that's what I would say about that. Hey, Jimmy, down under, big up, Randy, big up, everyone, big up, Jim. I can accept that Bruno and Rashford aren't the best, but they didn't force every time to bring in Anthony, Casemiro, and Anana, Mount, Højlund, Xerxes, and Sokova, Fernandes. That's absolutely right, but we do have Ineos there as well. We do have, and Casemiro is not a bad player. These are not bad players at the end of the day. Mount's injured. And Mount was also not entirely Erik ten Hag's choice. And I know that for a fact, right? So you can bring in that at the end of the day. And these are young players still. Højlund is young, Xerxes is young. Now let's talk about Mainu and Garnacho. What about them? You know, let's talk about Licha. Let's talk about him. Sir Alex Ferguson didn't get it all right. You know what I mean? Let's talk about these players. Let's talk about that for a second. Mazraoui is doing well at Man United at the end of the day. Do you know? Let's talk about these players. Højlund was one of the top scorers last season, mate. You know what I mean? He scored more goals in the Champions League, you know what I mean, than anyone else at one point, you know? So how can we diss him? Anana, you know what? Anana's passing out for the back, you know what I mean? But if we can't get rid of, listen, we got a new defense in regards to De Ligt with Licha, and we also got Yoro coming through as well. Is Yoro going to be crap as well? You know what I mean? You can't blame everything on him when we're trying to change a complete culture of the football team. We're trying to change a culture. At the end of the day, Al Mac, listen, if you want to watch football, my friend, look at things from above. Look at things from above and don't just look at one thing because I don't like that guy. Oh, I hate that guy. I'm going to say everything is a nice guy. As Jim Ratcliffe said, he's fixing the leaks in the roof and fixing the football team. Have it balanced. I'm not Ten Hag in, I'm not Ten Hag out, but I still come out with a balanced argument. That's why I have this platform, right? I still come out with a balanced argument. That's why I'm followed by footballers and people like that. Do you know what I mean? It's not about you being right or wrong, but just have it as a balance. Like, you know what I mean? Level it out a little bit. The hate is too much. The logic is low. You know what I mean? If you know what I mean. No offense, but thank you for your comment. It's all about their egos and attitudes, Sal. Absolutely, Jim. And that is more like it. Now, Erik ten Hag has made mistakes. He has made mistakes. Fernandes one, which I agree with. Is a mistake. Now, Fernandes is going to cost £65 million. And who said, you know what I mean, keep Fernandes? I said it before. A lot of people said keep Fernandes. It was a long time I said keep Fernandes. And people saying, no. On this channel, no, we got Luke Shaw, we got Malacia, we don't need him. We need to get the money for him and blah, blah, blah. And we said that, didn't we, at the end of the day? And I was there, you know what I mean, talking about Fernandes. You know what I mean, talking about Odene. Odene is not proven, by the way, Armac. Odene is playing in Greece, isn't he, playing at the end of the day? So he's not proven world-class player. He's a young player, you know what I mean? So that the jury is still out in regards to him. My dad was the first Sundowns captain, a good player, but I was the worst player ever. There you go, Randy. It doesn't always work that way. You know what I mean? You're not just because, you know, my dad's good at things, which I'm not, of course. Matt Rashford and Bruno have been bad for a very, very, very long time. Absolutely, Jim. Absolutely. And it could be a stipulation in their contract as well. Some fans just want it now. Kazi, some fans just don't. They're not the DNA of Man. No, you know the DNA of a Man United player. There's also the DNA of a Man United fan, right? A Man United fan who understands the DNA of Manchester United and where we are, looks at things from a different point of view. I want success at Man United. I've seen every single title under Sir Alex Ferguson, right? I know what won in regards to Man United. You know what I mean? I've been supporting them a very, 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 very long time, right? Most of my life, right? And the thing is, I will say things from a balanced point of view, not entirely. I will say, yes, that is Erik ten Hag's fault. But no, that is not Ten Hag's fault. You know what I mean? Fernandes was Ten Hag's fault. But at the end of the day, you cannot blame Bruno and Rashford on Ten Hag because they haven't played well for a very long time. Exactly, Jim. Do you know what I mean? And stuff like that, you know? And now I bring out a balanced argument. Some fans just want to hate on him and be like those illiterate, uneducated fan channels out there who don't know nothing, who just want to talk about hatred and just want to worship their ego rather than worship doing what's right for the football club at the end of the day. And that's what I would say about that. Randy, Erik ten Hag is a tactical. Well, McCarthy said that, didn't he? It needs to get results. I'm not sure if Ten Hag going to change much next week. I'm worried he's sacking himself. At the end of the day, the players will sack him, Jim. The players will sack him. If the players want to sack him, they'll sack him. And don't worry about it because those players, same players, will also sack the next manager. You know what I mean? One thing is, if you're performing world class in training and you're putting in the effort in training, and then when you got on the football pitch, you're not performing, what does that mean? What does that mean? What is happening there? Is that manipulation? Is that lies? What is it at the end of the day? What is it? We sold out at 500k. He is now a Polish international. Mate, I could play for Poland. Bruno told the Portuguese coach that Odiello was a fantastic young midfielder and was surprised he was sold. You know what? That is not just down to Erik ten Hag. That's down to Ineos. Ineos wanted, Man United wanted to bring in Ugarte. Ugarte is one of the biggest, best players in the world in regards to CDM. You know, Premier League is a different animal. It's a different animal at the end of the day. And I wouldn't listen to Bruno too much. I wouldn't. At the end of the day, Bruno needs to look after his own house rather than talking about other players. I was disappointed with Zidane, but we're talking about he's playing in a farmers league right now, right? And he's playing for a farmers team in Poland right now. At the end of the day, no offense, but they are. You know what I mean? I mean, League One teams will get in the Poland team. They have, you know what I mean? And championship players at the end of the day. You know what I mean? So I wouldn't listen too much. I won't pay no mind. But Mbappe's dad was a footballer. Yeah, but Mbappe's a one-off. Mbappe's dad wasn't a professional footballer. Mbappe's dad was not a world elite. No, I'm talking about elite players here. Elite, like Ronaldo and Ronaldo Jr. I'm not talking about a guy who played in the third division in France. Do you know what I mean? At the end of the day, I'm talking about players who play at the high level. Do you know what I mean? At the very, very high level, guys. And I'm talking about, like, you know what I mean? Mbappe, like not Mbappe, but Ronaldo's dad, Ronaldo and Ronaldo's son, you know what I mean? And that sort of thing, who basically multi-millionaires, do you know what I mean? And at the end of the day, Ronaldo's dad, Wilfred, by the way, he's a young guy. You know, he was a Cameroon international. He was a player, Ethan, and basically his brother played as well. The family come from that. The whole family come from, but none of them were like world absolute elite footballers at the end of the day. Only Mbappe was. Do you know what I mean? But the majority of the footballers who come from fatherly backgrounds don't do well. They don't. Do you know what I mean? And at the end of the day, neither did his parents. Do you know what I mean? So they're not world-renowned players. I'm talking about players who, like Rooney and his son, who come through, you know what I mean, get a scholarship early before anyone else. Despite that footballer being better, he will get a scholarship. Ronaldo's son will get a scholarship before anyone else, of course. And that is what I don't like. I think you should earn it. Absolutely. I both disagree and agree with, yes, the players will sack him, but also the usual favourites. This is the one thing we're going to say about Erik ten Hag, which is the problem. But at the end of the day, you know what? If they're performing well in training, they play. You know, and you know what? They're manipulating at the end of the day. These players need to be gone before the manager, Jim. These players need to be gone before the manager. You know what I mean? And I know they need to be gone. Absolutely. Do you appreciate the balance? There's a great balance about DNA and United fans. So many clowns these days like that. Your balance view. Thank you, JCF. Thank you for joining me on the stream, my friend. Don't forget to subscribe, my guy. Thank you very much. Really appreciate that. Absolutely spot on views, to be fair. Great point about the DNA of United player and a United fan. So many clowns these days. Exactly. Thank you, JCF. This is exactly what I'm saying. So many people. Like, we're not just talking about the DNA of a footballer. The DNA of a Manchester United footballer is what Manchester United are, the Busby Babes, the 1968, being relegated in 1974, being a cup team in the 1980s, becoming the world's best team under Sir Alex Ferguson, even though Sir Alex Ferguson was on the brink of being sacked. You know, the fans need to have that DNA as well, in regards to understanding the football club, researching the football club, studying the football club, you know, and understanding what it takes to be successful. Because a lot of people don't. They just jump and they say, we should do this, we should do that, we should get this. I guarantee you will get Tuchel. I guarantee you will get any other of these managers. Ruud van Nistelrooy have a new manager bounce. After a few months, it will go back to default settings. It will, you know, and we would have already given him a contract by then, and we will already be stuck in where we are, of course. He will survive. Watch this space. We'll have to wait and see. Needs results on the pitch as well. As I said, balanced view, of course. Look what happened to Beckham's son. I know, exactly, Kaze. It doesn't, majority of the time, it doesn't work. Because Beckham came from Leytonstone in East London. Well, hey, same as me. Yeah, and he played on the streets. He played on the streets. He used to kick a ball against the wall in Leytonstone. And at the end of the day, that's what Beckham used to do. And you know, his son is privileged. His son is spoiled. His son, you know, his mother is a Spice Girl. His dad is a former footballer for Man United, one of the greatest. And you know what? He's going to be spoiled. So he's going to be pampered. And that takes away a little bit of edge You know what I mean? To the footballer, it does, because the street footballer is what makes the footballer, in my opinion. Became a fashion influencer. So has Benny become convinced you to extend Everton rope? Or how much time does he get? Almac, my opinion is Almac, he gets as much time as, I said at the beginning, which is till Halloween. Halloween, Almac. But do you know what? I told you, I'm not Ten Hag in or out. I'm trying to balance out the argument here at the end of the day, because I've seen this thing for 10 years. Do you know what I mean? If Erik Ten Hag fails to at least get, I say, 6 points out the next 2 games, I don't think we should move on. I don't think we should carry on, because if we don't beat Brentford, we're in trouble. If we don't beat Fenerbahce, we're in trouble in the Europa League. We need to at least, if he beats Brentford and he gets a draw with Fenerbahce, for example, then it becomes very precarious. His position is precarious. And look at this, it's balanced. I'm not saying keep him at all cost. You must keep him. It's not that, is it? You know what I mean? I'm telling you, he has to get, I think, 6 points out in the next 2 games. I do feel that. I feel like he does. Otherwise, there's no point. We might as well just, the noise is going to become too strong. People are going to be speaking. People are going to want him out straight now and get him out, ball fraud, peanut head, which I don't agree with at the end of the day. And I feel like if they want him out, if the fans want him out, if the majority of the fans want him out, then I think it's the best time to get him out if he doesn't win the next 2 games. Now, that will take it up to almost Halloween, which I said, of course. So I did say a few weeks ago that it should be Halloween. Halloween surprise. Absolutely. No lie, but Rooney's son is very good in playing football. So am I, but I can't get a Man United scholarship. At the Ajax, Ten Hag wasn't in charge of recruitment. He didn't rate our recruitment, so he recruited his players now. Now that recruitment is changing at our club. Hopefully he will succeed. Basha, big up. Good point, my friend. Good point. Absolutely. Absolutely. I'm from Stretford. You clearly ain't, but we get it. I'm not from Stretford, no. Absolutely not. But I had a season ticket in Stretford End for many years. So GCF. I'm an adopted Stretford. When Bruno was asked about England and Portugal, he said it's a great feeling to play with world-class players and the food is great here in Portugal. Is this what he expects from our captain? Bruno's a miserable git, right? I'll say it like this, right? And at the end of the day, Bruno moans and moans and moans. But you know what? At the end of the day, he needs to fix his own performances on the football pitch. That's what I would say. Stop moaning to Portugal, going to the Portuguese media and speaking about Man United to Portuguese media. We don't care. Do the business on the pitch. Do the business on the pitch and then start talking about the football club, because you've got to fix yourself. You know what I mean? You've got to fix yourself before you wreck yourself, as they say. Do you know what I mean? He's got to fix himself and stop talking. You know what I mean? Because he's been our worst player this season. He's the 3 out of 10 every single week. The 4 out of 10, the 3 out of 10 every single week on my player ratings. He's the one. You know what I mean? He's the captain at the end of the day. It's extremely difficult to make it if your dad was a great player. You were always being compared, and it's difficult. It's difficult, but also you get privileges that you don't otherwise have. You can't make it because you're privileged. You're too privileged. You know what I mean? When you're too privileged, it's hard to have that. It's hard to explain what it is, but there's something within someone when they build themselves up from zero and they make themselves into something, right? They appreciate money, because money's hard to come by. Their mum's on £100 a week and stuff like that. Do you know what I mean? They appreciate money. They appreciate struggles, where they're going to get there, how they're going to pay their phone bill, how they're going to pay their TV license, how they're going to pay this. When you're a privileged player, you don't have that. You don't have those worries. So when a player comes from poverty, and is not necessarily poverty, but even like a middle class or like a, you know what I mean, a working class family, they appreciate everything much more. So they're more inclined to give more on the pitch. It's a fact. Yeah, it's the way human nature is. Yeah, they're skillful, they're lovely, beautiful players and stuff like that. But when it gets cut tough, you see them. Sad but true, Sal, and Man United still haven't learned anything from our past mistakes. Hopefully they're learning now. Obviously, let's remember that Ineos have only been here for like literally a couple of months, guys. Literally a couple of months. We are all united there because the club should be competing in the league every single year. We will get there, Chow. We will get there. Luckily, I've seen 13 titles, so I'm all right. You know what I mean? I hope you guys do witness a title one day. Absolutely. Absolutely. Bless you, Sal. Love Stretford. Post an absolute favorite community. Great size, great channel. And press the likes. If you don't, chase your own down. You when you arrive in Dubai. Absolutely. Big up. if you don't, Sal will chase. Absolutely. When you arrive in Dubai, absolutely middle of the earth, guys. So you have to stop here sometimes. Absolutely. Big up, Jim. Thank you so much, my friend. Thank you, guys. Don't forget to subscribe, please. Don't forget to smash a like on the video. Hey, bud, watching all the way from Somalia. Much love to you. Great job. Come on, United. Big up. Was it Abdul Razak? Abdul Razak, how you doing, my friend? Big up, Somali family, all the Somali brothers and sisters out there. Thank you so much for joining me. From beautiful Somalia, of course, guys. So at the end of the day, big up Man United. We're all Man United fans from around the world are here right now with me, and that is what matters at the end of the day. And we all on the same boat to the same destination, because that's where we want. We want a successful Man United, guys. That's what we want at the end of the day. The elder son of good player, zero chance. The younger son, one says better chance. Could be. Kazi, 7:44 UK time. Absolutely. I'm getting ready for the gym. I'm going down to the gym today, guys, very soon. Absolutely. Raul from Real Madrid and Kaka were from rich, influential families and rumored to have said Eric Ten Hag is rich, influential, but not footballers, if you know what I mean. Footballers, in regards to becoming a footballer, even if you're rich, is not that easy. I'm talking about their fathers were footballers, like elite footballers. You know what I mean? Elite footballers, you know. But when you look at Raul was a great player. You know, he was a great player, one of the top Champions League top scorers. You know what I mean? But his dad wasn't. You know what I mean? So at the end of the day, Kaka, his dad wasn't either. So there you go. That's the point I'm making. Making about fathers who are footballers. Fathers who are footballers for elite football teams like Real Madrid, like Man United, like these sort of things, and getting the favoritism. I'm not saying that every single player whose dad is a footballer is going to fail. I'm not saying that. I'm saying that basically it should be fair game. It should be that street footballer should have as much opportunity as that rich footballer's son. That's how it should be. Broken, child, broken, not 100% broken. So, and why are we traditional excel in sports like football, athletics, and boxing? Yeah, England do. Absolutely. We excel in sports like, and why we traditionally excel in sports like football, athletics, and boxing. Absolutely. That's what it's all about. At the end of the day, Man United, the class of 92 are the street footballers. They come from the street, and that's what I like about the class of 92, guys. Randy, let lights, gents, please. Keep going. 59 watch online lights. Keep smashing the lights, guys. Very important, guys, for the algorithms. Algorithms are very important. Much respect to you, Kazi, for being early in at 7 a.m. every morning. He's a legend, mate. Kazi's a legend. Absolutely love Kazi. Comes here every single morning with me, of course. Big up, Sal, with the Zidane news. Zidane, of course, he's a big... Jim Ratcliffe wants Zidane at Man United, basically. And the problem with Zidane doesn't like England. Not like England, but doesn't speak English. And he's never had any aspirations to come to England. But so Jim Ratcliffe feels he can change his tune. He can change his tone to come to Man United. But one thing I would say, Man United are not Real Madrid. We're not run like Real Madrid. We do not have Modric and Cruz and experienced players like that, do you know what I mean, in our football team, proven winners. So it is a dangerous thing to be wishing for. Although I would, you know what, he would demand the respect of the players. All right, good morning, Sal, from that. But have you heard Benny McCarthy, what he said? Exactly what I said, mate. Exactly what I said. Thank you very much. Thank you. So no one's congratulated me on that, by the way. I said exactly what Benny McCarthy said last week. No one's mentioned that. You know what I mean? Hi, good morning, Sal, from Nigeria. I really believe we have a good crop of youngsters. Why are we not bringing in to play with the team? Rooney was 18 when we bought him. Absolutely. Rooney was a generational, though, Hassan. How you doing, Hassan? I hope you're doing well. Welcome to the Nigerian family, of course, guys. Absolutely. Rooney was a generational. He already played for England at 17, 18 years old. He was a fantastic player, of course, already. You know, I would agree with you, Jamal, my friend. I would agree with you that we need to play Harry Amas. We need to bring in players such as that. I would bring in younger players to integrate into the squad rather than having older players on the bench. Even if you're given 20 minutes, 15 minutes here, I'm an advocate for the young players. I've always have been. You know, youth, courage, success. That is what we're all about at the end of the day. Yeah. Mate, you make your own Roonies and you make your own, I would say, Sniper Man. They have to be given an opportunity first, Sniper Man. Sir Alex Ferguson said, if you don't give young players a chance, they will stagnate and drift off. You have to give them a chance. And then sometimes they spark. Sometimes they don't. Sometimes they spark, you know? Charles, what's your all-time favorite United players? I've got many in my lifetime or in history. In history, it's George Best, Bobby Charlton, Duncan Edwards are my favorite players. Of all time, my main favorite in my lifetime, my favorite players obviously David Beckham, Brian Robson, Eric Cantona, Ryan Giggs, Paul Scholes is one of my favorite players. Of course, Jaap Stam, Nemanja Vidic, and lots of players. Andy Cole. I got so many because during the 90s, when I supported Man United, we won everything. So I love them all. I say it from the start. Peter Schmeichel, left back Dennis Irwin. I'll say Gary Pallister, Steve Bruce, Ronnie Johnson, Jaap Stam, Nemanja Vidic, you name it all. Roy Keane, Paul Scholes, Ryan Giggs, Brian Robson, Andy Cole, Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, Dwight York, every single, even Jonathan Greening, because all those guys, David May, Henning Berg, all those players, I would class as my favorite players of all time because I saw everything under those players. Cristiano Ronaldo, when he first signed for Man United, those type players, I can't pick one. If I was to choose one player I idolized when I was young, of course, Brian Robson was the player I idolized when I was first started supporting Man United. Of course, he was coming into the latter stages of his career back then, but you know what? He was a fantastic player, guys. Need time to settle in, absolutely. Big up. Sal, don't forget, I'm here most nights 11 p.m. and sometimes 1 a.m. when you get live, mate. Exactly, Jim, and look, Jim is here sometimes on the watch-alongs as well. So he's a legend, mate. It goes about saying, he's watching me from Australia. Do you know what I mean? Every single game, even the watch-alongs. And let's not forget, how many hours are Australia ahead? When I'm watching a game at 11 p.m., it's like 3 a.m. in Australia, isn't it? 4 a.m. in Australia. We need to write a letter to Ineos to chuck out these toxic players in the club. Absolutely, Kazi. That's the letter we need to write. Absolutely. I wonder if the negotiations in the summer, like between SEG and Ineos after the manager treasure hunt, surely it was in a position of power and they must have inserted clauses to protect themselves. Goals for George, good point. And at the end of the day, you know what? Probably that is the case. We haven't read the contract stipulations, of course, but he might have something in there to protect himself. He might do. He might well do. None of us have really read the contract, have we? If someone can get his contract out, I might try and find if I can find the contract stipulations. You know what I mean? Because that is an interesting point, because at the end of the day, you know what? He might have stipulations to protect himself. Dennis Law, of course, he wasn't in my lifetime, of course, Hossein, but, Dennis Law, of course, yes. Went to Man City, though, obviously. But obviously, Man United had problems then, didn't they? He had an injury. That's why he left Man United. He had an injury and he ended up signing for Man City because we didn't want to keep him at the end of the day, guys. So, Gerard, big up, bro, for the dedication. Absolutely. Ciao, big up. King Cantona. My favorite is Paul Scholes. One of my favorites too. Top 5. Ciao, top 5. Greatest English midfielder of all time in regards to the last 30 years, in regards to 40 years, of course. He was talking to King of Man United. Cantona was the final piece in that puzzle. Yes, he was. Without signing him for a measly 1 million, we wouldn't have done what we did. He also nurtured the class of 92. Let's not forget. So the leaks in the dressing room was a recording device in the Aston Villa dressing room. Not the Aston Villa dressing, the Man United dressing room at Aston Villa Park. That they put a recording device in the halftime team talk, and apparently leaks have been exposed. And they're not been exposed to the media yet, but there's some telling things in there. Don't be surprised if you hear news about it within the next week or next 2 weeks. Yes, he was. Yes, absolutely. Johnny, big up, Johnny. Hope you're doing about Hubble Agency, to be honest. Yes, they are. Randy, mine was Wayne Rooney. Yeah, Kenny, at your age, it is Wayne Rooney, but not for me. Not for me. Not what I've seen. Definitely not. No. Rooney's one of the greatest, top 10. But for me, not in the top 5 for me. That is my opinion. My opinion in regards to that. Best Man United player is Phil Jones. Oh, Johnny, come on, mate. He's talking a lot, Phil Jones, though, isn't he? Sal, you have the same old favourites as me. I love Peter Schmeichel, Nemanja Vidic, the beast, Paul Scholes, David Beckham, Eric Cantona, Ryan Giggs. Absolutely, those are the greatest, mate, because they proved it week in, week out, year in, year out. You know what I mean? I have nothing else to say, about, but they proved it year in, year out. Ryan Giggs, underrated, mate. I think about him. I'm not sure what you mean there, my friend. Sorry, George. Randy, I love that our legend George Best made fall in love with Man United. Randy, absolutely. George Best is a legend. I met him once at Leighton Orient in a celebrity football match. Unfortunately, in the 90s, this was the early 90s, he didn't play. I met him. He was wearing this leather jacket and I said, oh my God, it's George Best and stuff. You know, when I was a kid. So did the leaks come from the players or the manager? It was basically the leaks recently have been coming from the players. The arguments have been coming from the players and the usual suspects, Jim Watkins, the usual suspects. And you can work out who those usual suspects are, guys. Absolutely. You can work out who they are because you know who they are, guys. Absolutely, guys. Absolutely. Balls got Silent Assassin. Absolutely. Silent Assassin. Guys, thank you so much for joining me. It's been a splendid show. Brilliant, brilliant. Thank you very much, guys. You guys are legends. Thank you very much, everyone. Please don't forget to subscribe and smash a like on the video. Subscribe, please, guys, though. We need to build up that subscribe. I'm almost on 4,100. Let's get to 4,100. We're on the way to 5,000 subscribers, guys. Let's get there. We need to get there quickly, guys. That's what we need to do. Thank you so much, everyone. The usual suspects in the chat, of course. That is what it's all about. I think the Butcher would be a choice for captain because Bruno has embarrassed himself in the media. Absolutely. Goals for George. That's the comment, mate. Absolutely. Because he has embarrassed himself. He's let me down. You know what I mean? And he should just be quiet. He's not performed himself and he should be quiet, to be honest, and stop moaning to the media when you're not performing yourself. If you're performing and scoring goals and assisting goals, fair play. Moan. But, mate, don't moan to Portuguese media. My views is shut up and perform. And that is, I'm going to leave it at that. And that's what I would say to Bruno Fernandes. You know what I mean? Stop talking at the end of the day. We're fed up with that. We're fed up with those things, of course, guys. We're fed up with those things, guys. Absolutely. Ericsson, another one. Yeah, shouldn't be talking, Jim. Shouldn't be talking. Big up ever, but Ericsson did at least expose some of those players and not giving 100%. But he shouldn't be talking, in my opinion. Absolutely. Thank you, guys, for joining me. Big up, everyone. And I shall see you later on for Chatterbox, of course. Usual time, 2 p.m. UK time, of course, guys. And 5 p.m. Middle Eastern time, 3 p.m. Central European time. Take it easy, guys. All the best. Glory, glory, Man United. Keep it going and keep the positivity. And let's be fair, right? Let's be fair. All the best, guys. Peace.